Bem-vindos und herzlich willkommen aus dem schönen Portugal. Ich freue mich, dass Sie dabei sind. Es geht um Smart-Textiles, der Stoff, aus dem die Zukunft ist. Warum zahlt es sich aus, dass Sie die kommenden 40 Minuten hier mit uns verbringen? Everything is going to be textile. Damit darf ich auch unseren Keynote-Speaker zitieren, Ingenieur Antonio Bras Costa, der Ihnen in 2 Minuten einen Deep Dive in die Materie bietet. Hotspot Portugal. Sie sehen hier den European Innovation Scoreboard 2020. Portugal ist ein Strong Innovator, genauso Österreich, Deutschland. Wenn wir jetzt aber in den Textilbereich schauen, wird sich Portugal nicht nur dunkelgrün, sondern rot färben. Warum? Der Markt ist ein hochgradig innovativer Nischen-Champion im Bereich der High-End-Textilien. Wird Portugal das geschafft in den letzten Jahren durch Innovation, Forschung und Entwicklung und Digitalisierung. Dabei hat das Ökosystem eng zusammengearbeitet. Ökosystem bestehend aus Industrie, Wissenschaft und Technologie. Sita von Senti, von denen unser Keynote-Speaker der Chef ist heute auch mit dabei. Die Textilindustrie an sich ist ein strategischer Wirtschaftszweig Portugals. 10% Anteil am Bruttoinlandsprodukt, 15% der Arbeitsplätze. Die gesamte Wertschöpfungskette ist hier im Norden Portugals und Porto vertreten. Und das, was ganz wichtig ist, es sind fast ausschließlich Familienunternehmen, die langfristig denken und erkannt haben, wie wichtig Innovation ist. Wenn Sie Fragen haben, gemeinsam mit meinem Team bin ich für Sie da, unterstützt Sie mit Informationen, Plattformen, Partnern. Wir sind nur eine E-Mail, eine Telefonnummer, einen Anruf von Ihnen entfernt. Wenn Sie Interesse an mehr haben, hier finden Sie die Links zu Veranstaltungen zu Zukunftsthemen, Innovationen, zum Fashion-Bereich. Und in eigener Sache sollten Sie aus dem Kreativbereich stammen. Diesen Mittwoch haben wir ein Webinar zum Process of Innovation mit dem High-End Luxus-Keramikhersteller Vista Alegre aus Portugal. Aber, if you don't mind, I'm switching to English now. You're all here because you're interested in the topic of this webinar, smart textiles and functional textiles. It's my greatest pleasure to ask our keynote speaker to the floor, Engineer Antonio Bras Costa. He's General Manager of the Technology Center for Textile and Clothing Industries in Portugal, as well as CEO of the Center for Nanotechnology and Smart Materials. Anything you want to know, he's the right person to speak to. Signor Ingeniero, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank to Advanced Elsewhere for the invitation and the very, very kind relationship the organization maintains with CITEV and the textile sector in Portugal. Thank you very, very much for that. So today I will try to explain what is particular in Portugal when we talk about textile and clothing sector. Yeah, we have in Portugal an ecosystem that through the years, created the right conditions to have here the textile sector as is at this moment. So, of course, we are trying to orient this presentation as well for more innovative textiles like functional textiles and smart textiles. But first of all, I think that's time to show you some information about the evolution of this sector in Portugal. Portugal, before the integration in the EU, was a peripheric country, and the sector developed a little bit. Why? Because the integration in EFTA originated some business. However, this kind of business was based on the low-cost labor in Portugal. So the level of quality, the complexity of products in Portugal were very low at that time. So from 89, this sector started very hard work in order to create conditions to have more and more quality in their products. So during one decade, a strong program from the government, but mainly a strong attitude from companies allowed to reach maybe conditions to have one of the more active countries in the world in terms of textile quality, but just production, just manufacturing. So in the years 2000, some news about integration of China in WTO put some antennas on to understand what kind of options the sector in Portugal must take. And the option was quick response, flexibility. Why? To exploit our position inside the biggest market in the world in terms of fashion, of textiles. And then the relationship with big retailers claimed to our sector a new era, innovation. Till that time, customers came to our companies saying, I want 100,000 of products like this one. From this point, the situation is completely different. So they approach our companies and ask, what you propose to my collection? And in the last years, in the last decade, the situation is more and more active in terms of differentiation. And technical textiles are one of the more active areas of our sector now. So Portugal is a country with more or less 1.5 region in terms of textiles. Almost all the textile sector is concentrated in the north of Portugal. For this reason, the north of Portugal is the biggest region in Europe in terms of employment, textile employment. And in the last decade, the recovery of the sector was really, really amazing in terms of turnover, exports, and value added. But more than that, this indicator is very important, turnover per employee. So more and more complex products and more productivity in our plants. We still are a production country. So the difference between production and turnover is very small, about 200 million euros. And yeah, we are industrial. We are an industrial country in terms of textile. These are the figures between 2009 and 2019. And of course, turnover per employee grew 53%. And what is very representative of the evolution of this sector now. Okay, what is peculiar in the textile and clothing sector in Portugal? First of all, in Portugal, the textile sector is a natural cluster. Why? We are eclectic. We have from fiber production till confection, every kind of processes here. We are geographically concentrated in the north part of Portugal and really integrated. So in the years, in the 90s, the big companies, vertical companies, decided to change their business models. And in Portugal now, companies, big, smaller, or micro companies trend to be more specialized. So to be specialized imposes to have a strong relationship with the other companies. So as we are concentrated in the territory, this cluster is really integrated with strong interaction between companies. And finally, high level of specialization. The second point is the quick and flexible way to work. The quick response techniques spread among all companies, I must say, and plants engineer it to small studios as a standard. So our relationship with retailers like Inditex, the relationship between the north of Portugal and Inditex was amazing for the two parts. Maybe Inditex was not the same without a strong cluster at 100 kilometers, and maybe the north of Portugal was different without Inditex. But in reality, all companies, all kinds of companies, are prepared to work with high flexibility and to work with very small cities. Normally, our image is a little bit different. The image about the south and peripheral countries is not so good. But the European Commission published this scoreboard this year, where we can see, Portugal is a strong innovator. The changes in my country in the last years were really amazing in this area. When we talk about textile and clothing and the technical textile sector, we have a more particular innovation ecosystem. Why? Because we joined world-class research and development institutes, dedicated universities, and more important than that may be the existence of an industrial network in the area allow us to have really a test bed, a permanent test bed. So in certain cases, some countries, some research institutes in other countries now are claiming to us our collaboration in order to put or to test or to tune technologies in industries. Yes, we have industry. We still have industry. And this is very important. One dedicated to research institute, of course, CITEV, my institute. CITEV is oriented just to textile, clothing, and technical textile sectors. And this is the evolution of CITEV. CITEV was created in 1989, and then CITEV created a school to train specialized technicians to industry. CITEV decided in 2003 to create the first nanotechnology center for textiles in the world. More recently, we created a specialized company for certification purposes. This is a little bit the history of the creation of a cluster related to research and development to assist the needs and the challenges of our industry. CENTE is very important now because it's focused on materials, focused on nanotechnologies, smart materials, functional materials. When we talk about technical textiles or technical applications for textiles, this is very, very important. Science and technologies, material science, material technologies are very important. More than that, today, sustainability is a must for the future. And as I will say later, is a strong bet from our country. But sustainability is no more only philosophy or wishful thinking. To reach real results on that, we need more science, more technology development, more brainware on it. Because without science, technology, and innovation, of course, it is not possible to reach our objectives for the future in terms of sustainability. Yes. Oh, this is our campus in the north of Portugal. Universities and training centers are very important for that, and compliance assistance. So dedicated to our sector, we have a world-class lab, accredited almost everywhere, and a certification body for certification purposes. But more important than that is mindset. In this region, we breed textile. We know textile. All people has someone, a parent or a relative related to textiles. So the textile culture, the textile mindset in this region is very, very, very important. So more than that, now we have a very well-prepared new generation arriving to industry. I mean technicians, but I mean also entrepreneurs. We have somehow the perfection common sense. People as a eye sensitive to the perfection, to the luxury, to the goods, and in terms of textiles. And finally, the mindset is really international. So we export more than 80% of our turnover. So it is impossible in this region to have a different mindset. What are the main pillars of competitiveness? Yeah, you know, it's not possible to have a textile sector in Europe to compete directly to low-cost productions, even in the South, even in Portugal. So the competitiveness of our companies depends on option by complexity, difficult products, knowledge-based products, different, and our companies must be pioneer. The example is sustainability. Recycling, and we were the first movers, one of the first movers in this area, but we need it. It's not an option, a strategic option. No, that's a need. We need to be a pioneer, innovative, continuously. Yeah, so our bets, our characteristics for the moment and for the future is high quality, high level of service, high technicity, and high sustainability. I will explain this. Quality, no talk about that. That's a must. That's a must. The highest level of quality is a must for us since the 90s. High level of service. We learn to assist our customers. We now have lots of companies, the most part of companies, with a 360 degrees approach, giving all the service to the customer. The level of digitalization of the business, I mean the relationship at technical level, business level, and so on, is very high. So this is a tool for these moments, these pandemic moments. All people is prepared to use the IT tools for that. Flexibility and small series, and support customers more and more. So idea generation to propose to our customers to include some characteristics, some approaches to the products and so on. Design and product development, engineering, and technological needs. This is very important. Support to customers. Customers come to Portugal and go home with solutions. High technicity, yeah. Normally, we join high technicity with technical textiles. For us, technical textiles are related to other industries. But even in fashion or in clothing industry, we have zones of high technicity. In the technical textiles area, the most important areas of work in Portugal now are automotive, of course, medium-high level, habitat, health, and protection. But also inside the so-called fashion system, high-end fast fashion, sports, and athleisure, including sport, not professional, and leisure. Yeah, these are the main areas of innovation, main areas of research now in Portugal, and the main areas for business. Yeah, in the technical textiles area, of course, automotive industry is the most important now. So this is our sector. Fashion is the most part of our business, about an half, home textiles and technical textiles. But as we believe that textiles are everywhere and everything goes to be textile. So our bets, our work inside our research institutes are more related to technical textiles, of course, or high technicity textiles like sports, protection, automotive, health, and defense sectors. These are the main areas in terms of developments now. High sustainability. Yeah, in the last 5 years, the sector in Portugal achieved a good position in the international contest in terms of sustainability. One of the reasons was that in the research institutes, during the last 2 decades, we insisted to have research lines on that. When the sustainability reached companies by the commercial department, it was right the time to use sustainability as a business. That's the reality now. And okay, eco-design and eco-engineering, it's not general, but some companies are starting to apply these concepts. Material choice, everyone. I think that in Portugal, no company have a collection or a portfolio without something related to sustainability. At minimum, the integration of recycled fibers or these kind of things. Recycling, I'm not talking about mechanical recycling. This is the present, but it will be not the future, but new generation recycling processes. And finally, bioprocesses to avoid chemicals, to reduce water consumption or energy consumption, and so on. And tuned processes. Yeah, this is general. People as a very high concern and orientation to reduce water, chemicals, and energy consumption and on their processes. But we have some trampolines. The first trampoline was the market. Yeah, the market. Commercial people started to be approached by customers saying, yeah, what we propose in terms of sustainability. And at the same time, the competitiveness challenges, because we know that we must be different, and for this, we elected sustainability as one of the areas of development. But we have some trampolines, exterior trampolines. More than 2/3 of the electricity our companies are using for transformation, for manufacturing, comes from renewables. This is a very nice asset because the carbon incorporation of our products is a little bit less than the situation we had before, when the production of electricity was based on carbon. And in the near future, it will be better because during the next year, we will close 2 plants producing electricity from carbon. And we know the plans to implement hydrogen as a strategic way to produce energy in the future. This is not an achievement of our sector, but this is really a trampoline from outside. Water management, a little bit inside and outside. This region is the first region in the world having an integrated water management system, wastewater management system. So all the industries put their wastewaters in a collector, and we have 3 strong lines to depurate it. Another point is the waste management, because of course inside the European Union we have strict rules for waste management, but now the situation is more effective because formal waste is a future valuable raw material for us. So we are using lots of recycled fibers now. We don't have capacity in Portugal to have raw material for that. And the companies recycling fibers are now importing waste in order to produce new raw material, recycled raw material. Okay, that's it. This is what I have to explain you about the textile, clothing, and technical textile sector in Portugal. Of course, we can talk about what kind of technologies we are working with, what kind of materials we are working with. Maybe it's time to give to you the possibility to question, to put questions, and I will have the honor to answer you as far as I will be able to do so. But last point is, for those companies that are looking for people to produce textiles, let me say, be my guest. Portugal is a very kind country. We have good food and good sun, good beaches, for instance. Please come, but don't waste your time. If you need some kind of product, some kind of process, some kind of company, don't hesitate, because normally we give this service to our potential customers. If you need some specific point, we can identify to you the right companies, the right places to your business. So that's for free. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. And in the meantime, all the questions are coming in. Could you share some examples of technical advances in sports and athleisure wear? So what are you working on? What are trends?
First of all, I can mention some technologies we bet 10 years ago or 15 years ago, different technologies that are at this moment resulting in innovations, very important innovations. First of all, we were the first in Europe to bet in 3-component fibers. So we have, I can say, the best performance, the best knowledge about 3-component fibers in Europe. And 3-component fibers allow us to produce, several innovations. For instance, textiles as electronics or as a sensor. So now it is possible for us to produce fibers that are batteries, or fibers that are pressure sensors, or fibers that are temperature sensors, and so on. And most parts of these technologies were possible because we have good skills in terms of production of 3-component fibers. Second point is printed electronics. As you know, to print electronics on a textile is not easy, because textile is flexible, but more than flexible, is elastic, and is sometimes anisotropic. In principle, it's a very difficult substrate to print electronics. And during 15 years, we had the opportunity to develop several solutions to do so. Boosted by automotive sector, of course, because the interior part of the automotive, or the cars, is more and more, no more just a textile, but electronic sensors and electronic actuators inside the textile. So for this reason, with the boost of the car industry, it was possible to put as well these innovations in garment, or in home textiles, or in medical devices, putting the electronic in the surface. And finally, we started to develop technology based on nanotechnologies to manipulate matter at the nanoscale in order to produce some functionalities in textiles. Using nanoparticles or using nanomaterials, it is possible to reduce the amount of functionalizing material. For that, we developed as well some processes to make the deposition of the nanomaterials on the surfaces. And this is the third pillar of our bets 15 years ago that are now producing lots of innovation results. Finally, I would like to mention the cross fertilization we have now between textiles and other sectors. For instance, food sector, or agro-food sector, or cork sector, very important in Portugal, as you know. We developed the first cork yarn. We developed some functionalizations for textiles based on cork, but as well, we are using waste from other industries to produce, for instance, color. We patented bioprocess to obtain color from bio waste coming from other industries. So maybe this is a small show of some basic technologies we are using to produce our innovations.
Lovely question. There is quite a queue on further questions. Next one would be, what are the latest smart textile technologies you're working on? What is your opinion about textile heating system? The textile heating systems, we have several approaches now. The first one is to use fibers as electrical resistance, but
the most part of our experience is related to printed electronics. So we started with the car seats, printing all the sensors, all the heating bands, and circuitry on the flat textile or artificial leather. But now we have solutions in garment, in protective equipment, for instance, for policemen, or several applications. For us, this is not a new application for the future, because we have lots of applications now in the market. Yeah, one of the latest technologies we developed are related to non-Newtonian materials. So till now, these kind of materials are used in protective equipment, but using solid parts. For instance, bike protections for knees or for arms and so on. Using these materials, we can have something that's flexible, but that turns rigid upon an aggression. So, yeah, we decided to produce fibers with it, using the multi-material fiber technology, and now we are producing substrates, textile substrates, with the characteristics, the special characteristics of the non-Newtonian materials. Of course, defense is one possibility, but sports or protection in general are very important applications. Why? Because you can have a normal textile with a normal behavior as a textile, but with protection, increased protection to chalk, or to maybe also to cutting systems and so on.
And here, maybe the next question fits in nicely. If you are developing a special fabric for virus deficiencies in public transport, so do you have any work on this when you use fabric in public transport system, how to avoid viruses?
Yeah, some news around Europe mentioned our participation in the first face mask with antivirus effect. Yeah, this innovation was not so spectacular, because we used traditional technology to produce this substrates. So in reality, we use commercial products in order to have the process of certification easier. So this is not really a technology development, but a way to use some antibacterial and antivirus materials in a secure way. Why? Because face masks, in face masks, you are flowing air through the face mask, and we have to ensure that the airflow doesn't take particles of the biocide to the interior of lungs. So we used a known technology, but of course we had the concern and the decision to take all security measures in order to avoid health problem with face masks. Yes.
And what about a public transport system? If it's not a face mask, but for example, for seating in public transport, do you have any new development in this respect?
Yes, sir. In reality, the market, we have in the market solution for that. Public transportation has some issues to solve, because the abrasion is very important. So in the past, we developed some technologies based on degradation of self-cleaning materials, promoting the organic degradation of this is a good solution, but these are solutions in the market. It depends on company to apply these technologies, because no concerns about regulation now with some of those biocides, so no problem for that.
Okay, lovely. And there's a question: if you have a catalog of best practice textile samples available, like to be inspired maybe online or in a real catalog, looking through it, what you are offering or what is already possible?
Yeah, it's very difficult for us. In this moment, we have, imagine, 40 different research developments ongoing in CTF, more 60 in CENTI. So it's very difficult. And in other hands, I cannot disclose the results because we don't work for shelf. We work always for a company. So the companies are the owners of the industrial property rights. So the way we collaborate with companies is a little bit different. So please contact us in order to understand what is the challenge, what is the need, and in private we can share with companies some ideas, some solutions, of course, after signing a non-disclosure agreement, of course. Is
there any example you're allowed to speak about of your favorite smart textile or wearable that you think is very promising, kind of your favorite project right now? Is further questions?
Yeah, I don't have a special passion on that, but I'm enthusiastic with the seamless, not visible electronics integrated in textiles. So maybe all people will remember the time where a Walkman was integrated in a jacket. It means some electronic inside the pocket. So nowadays the situation is completely different, and we are enthusiastic that we must have to put the electronics on garments that seems a normal garment, a normal textile. And yeah, the results are very, very nice. In Portugal, we developed the first T-shirt to measure or to evaluate the performance of sport guys. That's just a T-shirt without oppressive material inside. So it's really the T-shirt, and all the sensors, all the electrodes, everything is textile inside. And in most part of the cases, you can't identify where is indeed the sensor. I'm enthusiastic on that, and maybe in the future we will have more achievements on that.
Lovely. And here's there had been a question before about heating in garments, which I often need because I get cold easily. But there's a question about textile cooling systems. Are you also working on this? My husband would need the cooling, I the heating.
Yeah. We are working with Pelton effect. We have a solution now working in a console for cars, allowing in a particular part of the console the possibility to heat and to cool down. It's not a secret. So we are working with materials allowing the Pelton effect.
And if we had a company interested in prototyping for a solution, would they be right to contact you? Is there a special minimum requirement, or if I have the idea of?
Yeah. CTAV is eclectic and inclusive. So we work directly with the biggest company in Portugal. That's true. Or we work with the huge companies, not Portuguese, operating in Portugal, like Continental or wherever. At the same time, we work with the micro companies or startups. Of course, the kind of relationship or services are different. But okay, we are prepared for everything. So we receive everyone. We make an assessment to the challenges or the needs the company has, and we decide jointly the next steps. Yeah, that's a very interactive approach, but we need it. Otherwise, a company launches a question like, say me what will be the big innovation for the future. No, it's not possible to say that. It depends on several things. It depends on the company and the production plants they have, and so on. So it must be interactive and, of course, for us, inclusive. We are not a company. We are an association of companies, 700 companies. So for this reason, we are private, of course. We depend on our services to live, but we have a public mission. So we are completely inclusive. Another point is we work with Portuguese or not Portuguese companies. For us, it's exactly the same. Don't matter the origin. What matters is the company is or wants to be customer. That's it.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much. So looking at the time frame and the three last questions, quite from different aspects. We have a participant asking she's interested in organic hemp yarns. If there are companies in Portugal which can spin hemp fibers, she has the information that most or all of them are coming from China. I don't know if this is in your field or if we shall answer this question in writing.
Very clear, very short. Yes, hemp fiber, of course. We have companies spinning that, and we have companies prepared to finish these products. Why? Because we reached a very interesting result 4 years ago to using enzymatic treatments. It was possible to give to hemp fibers or to hemp fabrics-based fabrics the same end of cotton. So the special characteristics of hemp, but with the end of cotton.
Lovely, thank you. And also from my part, happy to help you find these producers. So together with CTEF, Senti, we will look up potential.
For me, Austria is really a reference talking about bio-based fibers. You have a huge company there with a very nice knowledge about that, the biggest in the world, I'm certain. And the future will be more bio. The future of textile in Europe will be more based on our fibers, our raw materials. And I believe on that. I believe on hemp fibers and the eucalyptus fibers and pine fibers and everything fibers. Yes.
And haven't you mentioned there are special researches going on with Madeira and a source with certain fibers?
Yeah, in the context of bioeconomy, we proposed to the government to develop some sources of fibers, and we identified several. Hemp, of course, pineapple from Azores, banana from Madeira. These are archipelagos, in Portuguese archipelagos. And finally, to use the rice straw. We have some production here in Portugal, and this line of research is as well oriented to obtain good fibers from rice straw.
Lovely. Thank you. And the last question is now shifting to the technological part of habitat. Mm-hmm. If you could give examples of interior textiles used in habitat in the interior, what is possible? What is going to be possible?
First of all, the same of the car interior. Mm-hmm. All the instrumentation, all the sensoring and acting, temperature, whatever, light is very important. One of the particular parts of printed electronics are related to light emission elements, electroluminescent materials, for instance, or other kind of materials. So this is very important. The other part is related to earth energy. So I mentioned our efforts producing cork fibers and cork yarns. And at this moment we have good results. Why? Because you can have textiles for habitat that have the antibacterial, the acoustic, and the temperature insulation characteristic of cork in a fabric. But the most part of innovations now are related to instrumentation, to sensors and these kind of things applied in the context of habitat. Yes.
And these sensors, could you give us a practical example? If I imagine the living room of the future. The things that are always since some time ago in the market, like to have sensors for lighting, avoiding the contact between your end and the surfaces, for instance, in autos or in WC or these kind of things. Related to heating systems or cooling systems, related to, we are talking about smart, yes. The integration, the seamless integration with the other kind of electronics like televisions or smartphones or this kind of things. The most part of solutions are related to the integration of smartness in materials. And this is also the last question I think we have time for. It's about smart materials in the aeronautics industry in order to help weight, to cut on weight or reduce weight. So what is your experience?
Let's to separate these kind of experiences. Yes, we are working with, but as you know, aeronautics has a long time to introduce products on the market. So I cannot say you that we have, we have some developments in leather products for planes. But the most part, or the more innovative solutions need some time more to be accepted in the sector. Health and aeronautics and space are very particular in this point. So we don't have too much examples of our innovations in the market. in any case, yeah, we are working with using our experience in terms of defense, using our experience in terms of habitat, using our experience in car industry to propose some solutions using textiles. Yeah, let's see the future. Maybe the interior part of planes is more affordable for our industry, right? Because we have a good experience with automotive interiors. Structural parts for us, yeah, we have some people working on it, but you know, we don't know if, for instance, engine blade is a textile harnessed by a resin or a resin reinforced by a textile. Yeah, but in any case, yes, we are working with, but structural parts, the textile parts of the structural parts can be simple. I mean, complex materials, but not complex textiles for that.
Thank you. And I was quite fascinated and can recommend also your homepage of Senti. Under projects, you find examples of different areas you're working on.
Yes, yes. Even in CITEB, you have information. But okay, please understand that the part of information we can put public is a small part because we have commitments with our customers.
So, like a kind of an invitation to get in direct contact, to talk one-on-one what is possible for the solution or challenge a company is facing.
Of course, maybe the contacts may be made through you if you want, or direct contacts are possible with a small description of the challenge or the problem, in order to decide internally the team that will be in contact. Just one phrase, not more. And the next point is to create a team from our side, to sign NDA and go forward.
Excellent. So that's the invitation to all of you to stay in contact. Here on this slide also you have the contact details as invited. And once again, thank you very much indeed, Signor Ingegnere, for your time, for the insight you gave us.
It's an honor for me. Thank you very much.
Very much looking forward to staying in contact. Thanks for joining. If you have any questions, just do let us know. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.